schedule some interviews later on in the week. So Vermont has experienced 4 years of an active Democratic governor and two-third Democratic majorities in both the House and the Senate. We now see where the policies of that governor are taking us and his allies in Vermont. Many Vermonters are distressed at the prospect. A lot more undecided, but they want this year's campaign for governor to be about the great issues of the day. They want to see the incumbent governor made to defend his policies, his statements, and his actions. They want to see a vigorous debate over a path to a Vermont future that our taxpayers can afford, our economy, where our economy and children can flourish, and our liberties are secured. The incumbent governor says that he won't campaign until after Labor Day, even as he's all over the state holding photo ops and all over the country raising fat cat money. The other announced candidates clearly have little or no idea where the incumbent governor has gone wrong or just what they would do to guide Vermont to a better future. I'm running to create a real debate. Here are 5 issues where I intend to contest with the incumbent governor. Number 1 is Vermont's economy. He knows, and I know, that Vermont's low unemployment rate is a result of people departing the labor force because they can't find opportunities here. This will only get worse as Vermont Yankee closes down operations after being the target of great extortion for the past 12 years from the Shumlin administration and the anti-nuclear crusaders. It will get much worse if IBM packs off, leaving thousands of well-paid employees in Champlain Valley contractors and service businesses out of work. The incumbent governor's idea of preserving opportunity is giving IBM a 3-year electric rate freeze guarantee that our small businesses don't get. Topped off with a $4.5 million slush fund to somehow influence decisions of executives of multinational corporations such as IBM. This has the air of desperation about it. Number 2, state spending. The legislature supposedly balances the state budget, but we do it with Obama stimulus money and making only tiny annual contributions to 2 retirement systems that together are over $3 billion out of actuarial balance. That's $3 billion. The honest solution is to start backing off from state spending that goes beyond the state's core functions. Number 3, property tax rise. The state education property tax rates have been increased again in what appears to be a desperate race to keep up with school spending. The problem is that the government monopoly public school system is designed to suck up money whether or not it improves children's education. For me, the obvious solution is to let the tuition money follow the child to a wider range of educational offerings that they and their parents prefer. Most of those choices will cost less than delivered to be will cost less than what it is than delivered to the politicized top-down Act 60 public school system that we have today. The teachers union will vehemently object to any disruption in their present deal. Vermonters more concerned about their children and their wallets will have to stand up to them. Energy manipulation. The incumbent governor distinguished himself by engineering a huge utility merger deal that, among other things, snatched away $21 million from CVPS tax ratepayers. The governor dismissed AARP's outrage as quibbling. I call it theft. He also contrived to pull money out of this fund and divert it to the Clean Energy Development Fund that subsidizes expensive Chinese-made PV arrays promoted by his political friends. His comprehensive energy plan mandates that at all costs, 90% of Vermont's energy consumption must come from renewable sources by 2015. To defeat global warming, if it were to happen, holding down heating bills and extending growing season, I call this economically dangerous and altogether ridiculous. Number 5, the catastrophe called Green Mountain Care. Green Mountain Care. Finally, everyone has seen the carnival of incompetence exhibited by the Shumlin administration in setting up the Obama exchange. Does that instill any confidence that the same crew can wipe out health insurance altogether and substitute it with government control, bureaucratic ration, taxpayer-financed Canadian single-payer health care just 3 short years into the future. There are some insiders, actually many insiders, who believe that the problems of Green Mountain Care are far beyond Vermont's capacity to solve. And when things get worse or impossible enough, Peter Shumlin will find any excuse possible to throw in the towel. That might happen when he discovers that even liberals in the legislature gag on a passing a $2+ billion tax plan in 2016. But why wait for him to face up to this? Replace him now and give me a 2-year head start on fixing and writing that path. Finally, last but not least, I have the Libertarian Party nomination because I am keenly aware of the need to remain ever vigilant to defend our liberties. I will defend the Vermont Bill of Rights, and particularly its assurances of freedom of speech, press and assembly, the right to possess and protect property, the right to bear arms, and the right of Vermonters to honest and fully accountable government, led by a man who talks straight and keeps his word. And you can count on me to quote in my inaugural address these words from America's greatest libertarian president, Thomas Jefferson. A wise and frugal government shall restrain men from injuring one another, shall leave them otherwise free to regulate their own pursuits in industry and improvement, and shall now take from the mouth of labor the bread that it has earned. I'm encouraging everyone to write me in as the Republican nominee on August 26th. I've laid out a clear plan that's realistic and achievable for all of you. So if there are any questions at this point, I'll take them.
Why did you wait till you had to do a write-in campaign? Why didn't you get involved earlier? You could have been on the ballot.
That's a great question. I'm actually already on the ballot as a Libertarian candidate. When Randy Brock had backed out, many Republicans went out and actually got 380 signatures to get me on the ballot as the Republican nominee. They came up, as you know, 120 signatures. This was done in less than 48 hours. They did this on their own fruition. This wasn't something I did. They reached out to me. I didn't reach out to them. But our core
better choice for the Republican primary voter than Scott Miller.
I've actually laid out a plan that I think is achievable. I have the experience to commit to it, and clearly I've taken a position on some key issues. I'm not even sure where Scott stands to this day on some of these issues, but I've made it very clear my passion and where I stand on these issues, and I'm committed to them.
So, talk about experience. What's your experience with this?
Yeah, my experiences. I've been in businesses. I've been a turnaround consultant for businesses, both public and private sector. I was in IBM Global Businesses Strategy and Transformation Department, where we worked with public and private sector firms to help them turn around and improve their efficiencies of effectiveness, and help them focus on their core processes.
Does that give you an edge when it comes to IBM because you've been on the inside?
No, I have not. I've never worked at this IBM facility, so I'm not even aware. I know they make chips, but it's out of my expertise there.
So very broadly speaking, what is your plan for healthcare reform? I mean, you don't want single payer.
I definitely don't want single payer.
What would you do?
I think we need to get rid of the single payer. We're spending, that's just it's just the carnival of incompetence that's taking place there. I think we can open up the exchange to outside insurance vendors. The way I look at insurance and healthcare, and by the way, to answer your question, I have experience as a provider. I was at the Medical College of Virginia. I worked for Aetna and Cigna during their turnarounds, and I have GE healthcare IT experience. But I would open up the exchange to other competitors and have them compete on the premium side, and then knowing insurance from the inside and out, I will help partner with the providers, insureds, and payers to develop and identify cost efficiencies.
The GOP has been focusing a lot of attention over the last 12 hours on the legalization, the narcotic legalization aspect of the Libertarian platform.
Yep.
Do you support that?
Let me tell you what I support, right? Because, like many of you, I'm at odds at some of the platform issues. I support, and it's a secondary issue, the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana. I've been very clear about that. So that's a secondary issue, and you see I have a full agenda that is, like I said, that's all I stand for at this time. So we'll clear that up right now.
Harder drugs, cocaine, heroin, you're not advocating for the legalization of those?
What's that?
No, I'm not for
But I mean, it's in the
yeah,
platform.
it's in the platform, right? That's again, not all of you agree with your current ideologies, right? Neither do I. So I am not for amnesty. Let's be very clear about that. I've never said I'm going to release the felons and stuff like that.
So when it came time for you to decide what party you wanted to formally align with, why was it the Libertarian Party as opposed to the Republican
I've always
Party?
been a Libertarian Party member. I actually believe that people should have the freedoms to do as they choose as long as they don't harm anyone, and I don't have to pay for it, essentially. So I think people are responsible and should be accountable for themselves. And I think we live in a very charitable nation. We don't need the government to take over those policies.
First line item in the Vermont budget that you would cut from?
Probably the Green Mountain Care I'm looking at. But I actually took a look at the budget in great detail, and I was trying to match up. One of the things you have to do is match up the finances to the head count, and it doesn't seem very clear there because the budget items transfer over.
But I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of politicians will talk about the importance of cutting state spending, but
Yeah,
when it comes
state-
time to decide where are we going to cut state spending,
So
that's a more difficult question. So
Yeah, we'll look at education. We'll look at the single payer right out of the bat. I think we can. There's a lot of costs that are being incurred that are being taken over to state that we can push back to the municipalities themselves, cities and towns.
What about the Human Services Agency? You said the Summer administration has, got its social
Right.
services. You plan to keep that intact?
Yep. That would be. We'll look at that to improve the efficiency. It's still ripe for cost improvement and performance improvement. We'll take a good look at that. But as you know, I don't think the most vulnerable citizens of Vermont should take a hit for that. But I know we can reduce costs there.
What would access control look like?
I don't think it would disappear, but we'd have a restructure and a reevaluation of how that actually looks today to make it easier for businesses. But it has to be a common sense approach. So it has to be a win-win for everyone. It can't be